Decent and beautiful presentation. So I can share my screen.
Yes,
So that will be
please.
better. So can you see my screen?
Yes, you need. Yeah, we can. We need.
It's good.
Uh, it's okay. Yeah, you need to go to the second slide.
Okay. So let me quickly introduce the title of the topic. We are trying to talk with tiny machine learning and private blockchain, some use cases and system on chip. We will focus on. So instead of wasting much time, because I think you have already cordially invited to visit Trasna booth. So what Trasna is doing, the future of IoT, everyone knows. So let's go to directly with this topic. So there are two agendas here. If you see the title, that is the machine learning, that is AI, and another is private blockchain. And surprisingly, we will not be talking about the cloud here. We'll be talking everything on system on chip. So if we are going for the machine learning and the AI counterpart, so there is a kind of buzzword we call tiny machine learning. It's called tiny ML. And in tiny ML, you can see my slides that we have four, basically rather five pillars. You can see it that I can show you on device sensor analytics. Then you have the low power consumption stuff. Then the battery operated things, and there is algorithm, hardware, and software. So if you can see these low power consumption, the battery operated thing, and device sensor analytics, that shows that there is a kind of buzz or kind of prompt that AI can be used on the chip. So basically, the vibe was that the tiny machine learning kept into action where people are trying to use the machine learning on chip, AI on chip, rather instead of using cloud or chip together. So if you go to the my next slides, then you can see there are lots and lots of embedded device and IoT stuff. Say for example, if you have this watch and everybody is having this watch, so you can download and you can deploy Siri very well from here. So if you are going for this, then I mean, couple of years. I mean, I think 2019 to 2022, or rather 2023, we have plenty of stuff from Harvard Business Review with this Edge AI or tiny machine learning. So Edge AI is much more, you can say, global and holistic word, but tiny machine learning is much more technical buzzword, which we techies are, I mean, fond to use. So these are all the stuff which tiny machine learning covers. But the most important thing is that if we can go this, you can see my slide. This slide shows that there is a report of McNiskey. So McNiskey researcher predicts that we have a US 4 to 11 trillion by 2025. That is a kind of contactable or a connected device or IoT. But the most important thing is this, the last line, that is the identifying manufacturing as the largest vertical. So it of course include factory automation, and you can say smart predictive maintenance and everything. But these all are, I mean, pivoted and centralized with tiny machine learning or AGI devices, where you can find out a kind of company's value chain. We can create a company's value chain through the inspection, tracking, and delivery. So you can see there is scope of supply chain as well whenever you are trying to manufacturing product. So this was the McNiskey report, and if you go for this market forecast, then it is much more interesting. So you can see the right hand side that there are a lot more utilities and a lot more applications in vertical which can be covered with all this AGI, or you can say tiny machine learning application, where it starts from utilities, transport, logistics, smart cities, retail, then industrial manufacturing, healthcare, consumer, banking and finance, and agriculture. Almost every sectors have been covered, and they have predicted a nice and decent prediction till 2030. So you can see that there is a good edge AI enabled devices, which is not at all with the cloud. So I told you in the very beginning that we'll not talk about much cloud here. So if you are going for the first stop words which I showed you, the data intelligence or data analytics, then you can have the list of sensors here. So you have motion sensor, acoustic sensor, environmental sensor, biometric sensors, image sensors, rotation sensors, and force sensors. And most of them are used in edge intelligence use cases or AGI use cases as such. So if you see this report, it is a little bit older, which I found it from Harvard Business Review in 2018. So they told that 5 quintillion bytes of data produced every day by IoT, and less than 1% of unstructured data is analyzed or used at all. It means that no good data left behind. We as a machine learning or AI engineers or AI specialists or researchers, we always try to get as much as good data possible, and we have been become successful too much, because you see the statistics that less than 1% data which is unstructured, and no good data left behind. So on this theme in mind, we are trying to come out with a new solution or device based solutions on the edge AI. And you see, all this structure and all these tables are dealing with the edge AI platforms or edge AI hardwares. So starting from HiMax to Arduino or SparkFan, and the latest stuff is this the Cortex M55 TinyML processor, which personally I believe is one of the best and strongest processor of edge AI devices on chip, and that has been combined with Ethos U55, which is a kind of beautiful and superb computations on chip. So this is the kind of tiny ML and edge AI platforms, but I have not talked about the blockchain, because in terms of AI, it's not that much challenging whenever you are put the intelligence on the device. But what are the real challenges? You can see my screen. The challenges are having two parts. Of course, there is hardware and software. And if you see the hardware challenges, you require GPU, you require hardware, high speed hardwares and superb computations, because everyone knows that AI requires lot of computations on the neural networks. And based on this thing, we have also scheduled and estimated some resource constraints, which is memory and power. But the question is, of course, the software is a kind of typical thing, and you might be knowing and might be surprised that this AGI will not support much in terms of normal and conventional Python programming language. So Google has come with a solution which is called TensorFlow Lite, which is good one, enough good for the to implement any kind of AI algorithms on the device, which I shown to you, the Cortex M55 or Ethos U55 combinations. But there are some limitations. First limitation is the allocation of the memory, because you cannot have more transaction and storage space on the devices. You have a very low power consumption devices and low storage devices as well. So you are not having cloud here. So of course there is an issue of memory allocations, and there are some missing libraries as well, because a conventional programming language of like Python or any kind of other stuff which are used in AI, they are very much familiar with taking a library and fetching a library, customizing the library and give it to the customers. But in terms of these edge AI devices, we need to program a bit. We need to program from the scratch. So, and at the same time, we have limited operating system support, because you cannot have the support of other operating system which can be emulated on the hardware itself. So this is another issue, that you have a memory allocation problem, you have a constraints on the limited opportunity of operating system support. Based on that, they are coming with some solutions with low light and low devices which directly support the tensor lights and TensorFlow lights, that is Arduino, IMAX, SparkFun, and ECC. So the out of this, Arduino and HiMax everyone knows, and they are much more popular. SparkFun has some issues on the power consumption as well. So personally, I have not used SparkFun, but of course, Arduino and HiMax is much more popular in the market, and conventionally they are used in the edge AI. But as I told you that I have not discussed so far with the blockchain part. Now blockchain comes into picture, which is real great challenge, because for the edge AI device or edge AI algorithms, it is not much difficult to implement, because you have the programming language with you, just like I've shown you the TensorFlow Lite. But in conventional narrowband IoT or microcontroller or any kind of device based systems, you cannot have this kind of programming platform or some kind of direct support of the libraries. So if you see the conventional NB-IoT structure, there are issues. First issues is of course the centralized servers, what people do not like, because everything and something is controlled by the bias system of central serving mechanism. Then another is called the high maintenance cost, that you have to maintain a cloud. At the same time, you have to devise some kind of protocol between cloud and the device. Then single point of failure, this is dangerous and crucial, because whenever your any kind of devices fails, then entire showcase should be stopped at any point of time. And of course, there will be no data authenticity, because whenever you share something on the cloud, you are totally exposed and compromised. So in terms of these four problems, so blockchain is the solution which Trustna and which we can deliver. And most of the things which blockchain can cover, that is the immutability, decentralization, and transparencies. So these are the pillars. Everyone knows this. This is completely theoretical. But what is interesting is that what Trustna will be delivering or trying to innovate, that is the blockchain on chip. So blockchain on chip can give you a kind of solution which comes with the smart contract, security, and the creation of the chain nodes. And as I mentioned, 5 problems in the very before slide. So you can see all the solutions can be made available with the narrowband IoT microcontroller or devices with the blockchain. But in the morning, I have seen the secure IC with the real king of the designs of any kind of hardware devices. They told that they have not thought about the design part with the blockchain, but I think they will be motivated to improvise their decisions on the design part in terms of getting this news that blockchain can be implemented on chip. But there are some use cases like smart meters, smart agriculture, and supply chain and asset tracking. Asset tracking is the most latest stuff which I would like to mention, because during summer or during the holiday period, the people have lost their luggages. And Apple has come out with a kind of micro chip and devices, which is a kind of tracker. You can put the tracker on your devices, and you can worldwide, you can globally navigate where your device has been lost. So these are the things, couple of things which can be possible with the blockchain enabled NB-IoT use cases. But the question is that, as I mentioned, that buzzword blockchain on chip. What are the challenges? There was a mission from Intel. You can see the
So
left hand
yeah,
screen. Yeah,
sorry to let you know you have still 1 minute
yeah,
to
yeah.
finish.
Sure, I've just completed.
Thank you so much.
So blockchain chip coming from Intel, and that is not the solution. Solution is here. You can have the resource optimization, you can have the latency control, you have the storage constraints, and most of the things which I am mentioning here, that can be embedded with the private blockchain and will require all these features. So what Intel is coming, it is a public blockchain, which we are not interested. We are interested for the private blockchain, so that it can be specified with the use cases. So here is the takeaway. So future is the tiny machine learning and private blockchain on devices and system on chip. And if you are having any questions or any kind of assumptions or doubts, please drop a email to me. My email is there in the first slide, sumaya.banerjee@trustna.io. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sumya. Thank you so much for this presentation. Can you stop sharing, please? Then we
Yeah,
can,
sure.
yeah. How I have a question is about how can companies handle devices with a private blockchain? Does this interoperability if different devices or chips suppliers? Means if I am I don't know, a smart metering and I have different suppliers, how you will handle this difference? Should I buy only from Trustna, or I can buy from other, and how you will handle?
No, there are two points here. Basically, in private blockchain, what we do is that we usually create a kind of modules. So, if say for example, in the smart metering, some companies having their own solutions with the metering purpose or with the tariff purpose at the same time, so we can create a kind of private blockchain module for them. So that module is interoperable, that module is portable, so you can port that model to other devices at the same time. And second point, which is very important here, that private blockchain are only for the storage and transaction purpose, and please remember, there is no cryptocurrency here. So if we are avoiding this cryptocurrency, so there is a kind of consensus or agreement algorithms. So agreement algorithms means that you and other parties, you and other companies can consolidate their decisions, that yes, Trustna can develop this module for us, and that module can be applicable for all the metering company or all the energy company or all the water resource company as well. So
Thank,
module and this kind of optimization of resources can be solution.
thank you so much, Sumi. I don't have time to go to the two other. I think I saw in the chat a question is if you can
Yeah,
go
sure.
through. Thank you so much. Now let me